Start video. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, uncles and aunties, daddies and mommies. Welcome to the market column for today, live from the Value Flow Trading floor. Today being the 9th of April 2024. This market column is brought to you by the Value Flow Trading team and your favorite broker, our favorite broker, Opta, formerly known as Opta FX. Right about now, we're going to be looking at the indices and the commodities because, as we all know, Tuesdays are for indices and for commodities. So we're going to be starting off straight with the commodity assets before we now proceed further into the analysis for the indices. But before we continue, I just want you to carry out one faithful exercise which you always carry out this morning, at least an exercise to stretch your body in case you haven't. And this exercise will require you sharing the link to this market color with your friends, family, and anyone who you know has an interest in Forex or is an enthusiast of the financial market. So the link is going to be right there in the chat box very soon. The link is vfthub.link/market color. vfthub.link/market color. So we're going to give you about 30 seconds for that exercise. And when you're done, we're going to now proceed with the analysis for today. All right, so click on the link or copy the link and then share it with your friends, your loved ones, your family, or anyone who you know is interested. The link is vfthub.link/market color. So I'll be waiting for you to do that before we continue the analysis. All right. So clearly we're going to be going straight to the charts and we're going to be starting off with USD CAD. But before we do that, I always like to check out what's going on in sentiment and then fundamentals while analyzing commodities, okay? I always like to get a very clear view of sentiment, especially when I'm trading commodity assets. Now, looking at what sentiment is showing us clearly, we're not having unison in terms of the plays in commodity assets or commodity currency pairs, USD CAD, NZD, and NZD-USD and AUD-USD being the topmost three among other commodity currency pairs. So we're not seeing clear flows, we're not seeing clear sentiment. This is Finvish, and it's not showing us any clarity in relative performance for the day. And when we switch over to the weekly time frame, we're seeing that there is no clear theme for the commodity pairs yet. When I mean yet, means that possibly there may be, because overall in the weekly perspective, within now and the last 5 trading days, we've seen that NZD-USD, not NZD-USD now, NZD, AUD, and CAD has been buying, but we need to see a little more volume to them so that we would clearly see risk on playing out in the market. So today, there's this slight chance that the play for today will possibly be risk on. So we want to see that have an effect in the chart. Okay, so straight up, we're looking at AUD-USD. This is AUD-USD, and on the daily time frame, we've seen how AUD-USD has been caught up in a range, but on that range, it has been ranging to the upside. You can see that. So AUD-USD has been ranging to the upside. Okay, so you can see that channel that it has been building and has clearly been ranging to the upside. I believe that it's going to break out of this channel very soon and then give us clear direction as to where the market would be going to. All right, so for AUD-USD, we may also need to step it down a little to the hourly time frame. You can see that it has really been ranging. We're not seeing any clear structure playing out on AUD-USD except for this channel. You're seeing that lows are being taken out, highs are also being taken out. Currently, price is resting. Sorry, USD card. Yeah. USD card, yeah. So on USD card, we've seen that price has been ranging, taking out highs and taking out lows. And then we're expecting that price may be able to bounce off from this other block, right? This other block right here. Price may be able to bounce off from it. If not this other block, then we'll be expecting price to retrace all the way downwards. But I would likely prefer this other block because we're seeing another block that is aligning with a breaker block. All right, the breaker block right here and another block right here. So this level is going to hold price quite a while before price is able to break out of it. Okay, so we're expecting that if this level holds price, then price should trade to the upside furthermore, looking at what we're seeing on our clear technical analysis. All right, so when sentiments align properly, we may now see risk on playing clearly in the market. All right, so the team that looks like would likely play is risk on, and when we're sure of that, then we'll be looking to go short on USD card. But for now, we may likely see USD card make one more trip to the upside, and if it's going to buy, where is it going to buy to? Let's look at that on the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, there is no clarity as to where USD card is going to buy because all the structure we are looking well mitigated. So we may only expect USD card to buy all the way to this level right here, possibly all the way to this level right here, 1.38504 region, 1.38504 region. So we may be seeing further buys on USD card. Okay, because intraday we are not clear on sentiment, so we may see this play out USD card buy all the way to this level around here and then start to sell off. Okay, until it does that, I'll be looking to buy USD card from where it's currently. So if USD card is one of your preferred currency pairs, I'll be looking for a long on USD card. Okay, potential long. It may not happen now. We may see some delays, mind you. We're expecting the consumer price index for the US today is a major inflation tool. So we may have a quiet London session and a very noisy and volatile New York session. Okay, that's one of the things that I'm anticipating to happen. So for me personally, once it's New York session during high interest, high impact news like this, I usually close all my trades and watch the news so that I can get interpretations from what is going on in the market and then keep myself ready for the long-term approach of trading. So for USD card, this is what I'm looking out for. It may possibly trade all the way to this upside, but it may be quiet for a while, and then after the CPI, you now see the clear direction for USD card. Now, straight over to AUD USD, we've seen how that AUD USD has traded all the way back to this other block again. The first time it traded into this other block, or sometime last week, we've seen that AUD/USD is back to this other block again. All right, so there's also a fair value gap to the left and to the right on this guy. So we're seeing AUD/USD trading to this level right here. So after this level, I'm expecting to see some sell-offs of AUD/USD. This is the fair value gap to the left and to the right. AUD/USD has traded into it. So for this guy, that is AUD/USD, I'm expecting to see it sell off all the way to this other block right here once again. Okay, so price looks to be trading from other block to other block. This is what we're expecting to happen on AUD/USD. So I'm expecting it to trade all the way downwards to this other block, the green other block right here, this one. Okay, so this is my expectation for AUD/USD, sell off to this level and then possibly continuation of the buy. All right, so if you trade AUD/USD, if I were you, I'll start looking out for sell entries on AUD/USD. Once they play out, I'll be willing to go short on AUD/USD all the way to the downside. And then finally, NZD/USD. Now for NZD/USD, I also expect NZD/USD to make that play for the sell-off to the downside, but I'm not so much interested in NZD/USD. Reason is because of its sluggishness, but for the sake of our analysis, This is where I'm expecting NZD-USD to trade to. Okay, I'm expecting NZD-USD to sell off all the way to the downside, arrive at this level, and then possibly continue its uptrend. Except if price continues to force its hand to trade further downwards. This is NZD-USD on the daily time frame. Remember, we still have a point of interest on NZD-USD. If you remember from some of the analysis we did last week, we said we were expecting NZD-USD to trade into this place. All right, so it has traced into this other block. We may see it trade further downwards into this area. Okay, but before that, we would need to see it trade into this level, give us a reaction, and then possibly continue trading to the downside. All right, so that is all for NZD, USD, AUD, USD, and USD card. Right about now, we're going to be going on a very short break. And when we return, we're going to be looking at the US indices. We're going to be looking at the equities market. We're going to be checking out S&P 500, US 30, and NASDAQ 100. All right. So stay tuned as we proceed.
Good morning and welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Thank you for joining today. So straight we'll be looking at the indices, that's US 30, NAS 100, and also S&P 500. And if there's time, we'll check out some other currency pair available that might have a setup that we might be interested in. Right. So before I even go into that, there was a particular setup that we had yesterday, Euro NZD. It's interesting how that we've gotten so much from Euro NZD between last week and this week, right? On that particular pair alone, we've gotten as high as, yes, 8RR, right? 1:8RR between last week and this week alone from that single pair. Let's just look at it and then we move to our indices. Check for it. NZD. Okay. Quickly. Okay, it's quite interesting. Okay. Okay, quite interesting. What price did yesterday was very sweet and obvious. We saw a sweep of this last low. Price swept through this low and then started seeing it create multiple structure to the upside, breaking this point again. And what did we do? We just placed our pending order here, right? Immediately price tapped us in somewhere around here. Next to 3. So 2.5 there, yes. Price tagged us in and then boom. So that sharp move to the upside and then delivered. In fact, from these two candles, 1 is to 2.5. Yeah. Remember vividly, we caught this trade yesterday. It was one of the fastest trades so far. Price just tagged us in, printed the first bullish, second bullish, and everybody exited or managed to trade, right? So it's the same principle every day, just to let us understand the picture that okay, it's the same thing, particularly for me, the same thing I'm looking for in the market across every asset. If I'm trading currency, I'm trading indices, I'm trading synthetic, or even the gold market. It's the same framework around the setup, right? So it's not random. You have to make sure your approach to the market is not random, it's systemic. Try as much as possible to combine all your approach to the market as a rule. You want to see this after this happens, then this after this, then this. It keeps you in check when doing your analysis. So quickly, let's go to US 30. Something interesting and very amazing happened on US 30, right? For I think that's in the month of March, last month, in New York session, New York TDA, that's market color, New York market color in March. I said something about this particular setup. In fact, I've been saying it particularly, but then because of time, I'm not really, yes, not even because of time, but because of price movement. Price didn't come there as early as I wanted to. We had a lot of movement to the upside, and then price came back, right, to this zone, and then started buying to the upside. Remember, our analysis was that we want to see this happen clearly, a break of this structure, each price broke into and then returned into this resistance turn support, and then saw it tanking to the downside. However, for those that remember that in tune with all the analysis we've made on indices, remember I said I wanted to buy from this level, right? I wanted to buy from this level, and it's nothing strange because this is a very good point. We've seen price sweat. A lot of liquidity was hanging below this place. It's the same principle every day. I didn't catch a single pip out of this trade because I was monitoring all that here. But the moment I saw it happen, I knew what happened on this trade. Interestingly, I gave out the trade call, but we had deleted it because it took a long while. Imagine this happened. Yeah, I knew this happened 19th of March, and then it took price a whole 19, 20, 4th, 5th for it, 5th of April for it to come and activate. So we had deleted all of these orders. I remember sending it to the private group for TDA. Even those in that group can confirm that I did send US 30 trade call, but we couldn't maximize it. Took a while before it happened, which is normal too. So we saw, what did we see here, right? To look at this market. Remember, from the higher time frame perspective, it is bullish, right? Price has been bullish for a while now. Price has been bullish for a while. So a higher time frame perspective still stand. All of this is just on the weekly time frame, just this one candle. That's the full green candle and full red candle we've seen for a while. It's really engulfing, right? And it says a lot because it looks like an engulfing candle on the weekly. So we want to see some bearish pressure to the downside and furthermore. But overall, look at it. It has been printing a lot of green candles, strong green candles to the upside, which indicates that we are very, very bullish in this market, right? So on the daily time frame too, the same thing has been happening. Price printing multiple higher highs and higher lows, right? If we remember last week or a week before, saying this looked like a double top, and when we see a double top, we want to see it slam to the downside, which happened here. All happened in this market, right? Especially US 30 here. It happened on US 30. And 4 hours time frame is also saying the same story, telling us the same story. The same story. right? A break of structure. Once price breaks below this level to the downside, then we can now begin to size up on the sell. We can still sell even in this market, but we want to ensure that we are in tune with the overall time frame. If you're going to sell, it just be a short scalp. A short scalp on US 30, luckily, can be as high as 100 pips. Yes, on US 30, on NAS 100, on S&P 500. A short scalp can be as high as 100 pips, right? And as low as 50, 60 pips, which you don't get to see every day on currency, because these guys, they are very funny. They can be very wild, right? When they have volatility, they can move. Just 1 hour candle can give you 200 pips easily. So you want to ensure that, and that's the reason why you don't want to counter trade. You don't want to counter trade on it, because easily, if it starts to move, it pushes you out. No matter what your stop loss is, 50 pips, 30 pips in a second, you'll be taken out of the market. So if you're going to scalp for the sell, it's good, but then ensure you know what you're doing while scalping this market, right? On 2 hour time frame, yeah, I've been seeing it consolidating. In fact, there's nothing for this, because this price action is very messy, right? Forming something like a peanut flag pattern for those that trade pattern, right? But how did we maximize this trade? Yes, I was looking at the trade yesterday, and then I saw it went up to 1:5 RR. However, for us at the TD Plus group, or personally myself, 1:3, I'm already out of this trade, or at least 80%, 90% of my position would have been, secured, while I will allow the remaining 10% to run through. So what did we see here, right? It's the same thing every day. It's the same thing every time. Market structure and liquidity. We want to see price sweep through a structural point, which was this low and this low here. Price swept through it effortlessly. And then that gives us the confidence that this thing is going to hold. This level is going to at least give us a very good 1:2, 1:3 RR before we move. And then what did we have to see again? We want to see this structural liquidity, which will serve as our inducement. This structural liquidity will serve as our inducement. One price to tap into that place. Price uses it as a fuel to move to the upside, right? So liquidity that cause price to move the direction you want it to move, right? And so if we scale down, we're going to see this level here. Okay, this, all right, interesting. On price to tap into this zone, and then which price did effortlessly. Our entry model is the same thing every day, every time. Nothing has changed, regardless of the market, regardless of the assets. Just that some assets you have to tweak it a little bit, but then overall it's the same framework when it comes to strategy wise, right? So it's all the same thing. This is 1:3. Yes, to be very modest, 1:3. I'm out of this trade. I'm out of this trade. Any other thing is less than 10% of my position that will be floating in this trade. And it did 1:5, I guess. 1:5. So it's a good trade. And that's one interesting thing about the market. Imagine all of these things happen, all of these price movements happen to the upside, this push, this long candle. I didn't have to want to catch every single thing in the market, right? Because I was waiting for my own setup to play. And the day my own setup is going to play out, it gave me 1:5 easily, right? So, and this is 1:5. Say you risk 1% on this trade, right? You're going to risk 1% on this trade. That's 5% alone done. 5% alone done. So it's a game of patience. The thing now is, will you have the patience to wait from the 19th of March that you've seen the setup, and have the patience to wait up until April 4th, April 5th, for you to take that single trade, and then it gives you 5%. So you see now in the market, it's not really about the clicking of buy and sell button. It's about the patience and you waiting for your setup to form in the market, having the patience to, pull the trigger when you see it form, and then allow it to run. So it's a nice one. We've seen that happen. What am I looking for on US 30 again? I'm waiting for it to also start to sell to the downside, right? sell to the downside for this level. I'm seeing the same thing across this level again. The same thing I'm seeing across this level again, right? However, this time, this guy is going to have our structural liquidity coming. It becomes our protected low. And then I want this structural liquidity to be taken out. Either this or even this one here. They just have to be taken out. And what will I do? Then I'll scale down. I know there should be something here. There should be something interesting about this other block. Yes, there should be something very interesting about this other block. I know the SL is going to be quite large, but then I should get another block, probably M15 or something lesser that will reduce the entire SL to about, say, 50, 60. I'm safe. If you are trading S&P 500 or indices in general, and you're looking for 10 pip stop, 5 pip stop, I bet you it might be very hard. Might be very hard. Before you see Jack Robinson, your SA is gone. So when it comes to indices, you have to be selfless, generous with your SL, right? You have to be very generous with your SL. If not, no, you're going to be taken out. I can't be this generous. That's the truth. This is 175 pip SA. I can't be this generous, of course. That's why I said I'm going to go to probably M15 to look for a better point of entry. There should be. This is US 30. There will be there'll definitely be an entry that is more suitable in, say, M15 and M30. I'm talking about entry for those that like to join our private group. I'm sure my colleague CJ have spoken about that, but let me just reiterate it again. For those willing to join our Telegram group, where we give specific point of entry, exit, and profit in the market, you want to check the chat box now. The link is going to be dropped there. There's an instruction you have to follow, which is very simple. It's very simple. It's very easy, which is number one, you sign up with our preferred broker, Okta, right? The link will be in the chat box. After signing up with our preferred broker, or if you have an Okta account before, all you can do is just change your IB from your former one and tell the support mail that you want to move to this new IB, which is our own. It will be dropped in the chat box. Once you've done that, you fund your account with a minimum of 500, 2,000, 3,000, 100, 200, as high as possible that you can, right? After you've done that, then send us a screenshot of that funding. Send us a screenshot of that funding to our Telegram channel, right? Our Telegram, and somebody from the team is going to respond to you in less than 3 to 5 minutes, and you'll be added to that Signal group. I'm talking about that, private Signal group. Yesterday was a very good day for us, right? Last week was a very good week for us. Last week we banked 1:6 RR. This week we've done 1:5 RR, right? That's on Monday alone. Yesterday alone was very good. 2R or 2.5 R on Euro, NZD, another 3R from GBP USD trade call by our very own CJ Banks, right? So you want to find your way into that group. You want to find your way into that group and invite as many as possible. A lot is happening on that group. The instruction will be in the chat box. So let's continue that US 30 trade analysis. If you check the lower time frame, I'm sure I'm going to get a very good point of entry from this setup. And what am I targeting? 1:3. Also 1:3, right? Overall, where will my ultimate target be? This guy here, for price to go and clear it. This guy that was for overall. But then I'm not greedy because of swap, because of a lot of things beyond my my reach. I might just have to exit at 1:3, which is still reasonable, right? So that'll be all for today. That'll be all for today. I'm seeing this on US 30. Let me check NAS if I see anything special on NAS. No, nothing really special. Yeah, nothing really special. Pricing not activate now, so it moved before. Saw price move to the other side. It didn't clear the structural liquidity, so probably we're coming down to clear structural liquidity and feel all of this imbalance for it to start moving to the upside. So that will be all for today, guys. If you have any question, you can begin to ask in the chat box. If you have any question concerning today's analysis, concerning anything, you can begin to ask in the chat. Are we still bearish on GBP JPY? Are we still bearish on GBP JPY? For I think that question is as regards to yesterday analysis. Are we still bearish on GBP JPY? Still bearish on GBP JPY? Okay. I've not traded this guy in a while, so I think so. I think so. What will make this trade to be invalidated will be probably sentiment. Sentiment. If the sentiment is not on pound, if pound is not gaining strength this morning, then we should see it continue to fly to the upside. However, or if pound is gaining strength, I mean to say, we should see it fly to the upside. But if pound flow is bearish, sentiment should confirm the structurally speaking. I'm not seeing anything for now in terms of what's it called, technical analysis, market structure, and the rest. There's nothing being seen for now. And if you want to look, this price has been printing small candles, though bullish candle. There's no volume and there's no momentum. So I expect this guy to actually drop, but then you have to use sentiment to confirm if it's actually going to drop or not, right? Sentiment has to be our last confirmation to know if eventually GBP JPY is going to drop, right? I believe my colleague might have touched on the pound, no, not pound now, JPY basket. And if he hasn't done that, probably in the New York section, we are going to touch on it too. So that'll be all for GBP JPY. Believe you should drop, but then we have to use sentiment to confirm whether or not JPY has strength or pound is strong enough. So that'll be all for today, guys. If you have any question, you can begin to ask in the chat box. If we have any question in the chat box, and if we don't have any question, if this section was valuable, you can type in the chat box value, and give us your favorite emoji to know that we are doing something good and what you're doing is of value to you and to your trading journey, right? Like us to do that in about 5 to 10 seconds. If you got value from this session, you know it was valuable. And also, if you have any question, you can also type in the chat box, right? While we are still on that, our courses are still available for those interested. And you're not even interested, for those that want to take their trading journey to the next level, want to take your trading journey to the next level of profitability and stability as a professional trader, you want to enroll for our course. The ATM cash flow training will be coming up very soon. Want to send a DM to our WhatsApp number that will be showed in the chat box. Our WhatsApp number that will be showed in the chat box. Want to send a DM to our WhatsApp number that will be shown in the chat box, and then somebody is going to respond to you, ask for the inquiry, ask for the price, and then sign up for it, right? Once you pay a fee for a training, you're definitely going to put your mind at it. If it doesn't come with any cost, you might not value it. So just do that. Send a WhatsApp number, a WhatsApp chat to our number, and then somebody is going to respond to you. The FX Bootcamp is also there, where we do a deep breakdown of how we analyze the market, how we enter, how we exit the market for the currency pair, meta, and indices also, commodity pair also among the list, right? We have other courses like the Sunshine Scalping Plus for those that are interested in indicator-based trading, effective. If you're interested in that, of course, you can sign up for it also. Our bots are also still available, the Truth EA. And don't forget, like our boss promised yesterday, there will be a discount coming up for those that have been interested in purchasing some of our bots, but then because of one thing or the other, they've not been able to come up with a full amount. You want to take advantage of these discounts coming up. You want to take advantage of the discount coming up. They announced, and it's going to be the one announcing it. And then once immediately, I'm sure it will be limited spot. Immediately makes that announcement, ensure you sign up, ensure you pay before the slots have been taken, and then you go back to being without a bot again. So if you know you are interested in purchasing any of our bots, stay on the lookout for the announcement, and then you're going to, maximize the opportunity when it shows up. I'm going to take some comments. Ibukun said value. John said value. Value. Yes, valuable. Thank you. Oluwaseyi said value today, value on the signal group. Thank you so much. want to say a big thank you to you. We're going to converge again in 3 o'clock New York session market color, right? New York session market color, where we'll also be doing a breakdown of what happened during the London session. Thank you so much, guys. Somebody asked a question about the. Oh, good morning, sir. What is around? Good morning, sir. Somebody asked a question about.
Good morning. Good morning, Debola. I wasn't supposed to.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Demola. Fantastic analysis as usual. Well done to you guys on the team. I wasn't going to talk today. I was just going to listen. But because that person asked the question, and because of what I said yesterday, right? Yesterday, I said that we're looking to sell the yen pairs. But if you notice, when price got back to the shoulder, let's look at what we're looking at yesterday into today, that fair value gap. Exactly. So I was thinking that look at the shoulder there, look at the sweep, and look at the sharp move to the downside. So I was thinking that when price gets back to that left shoulder, I don't know if you can zoom in for me. Or we're not really zooming that shoulder exactly. The shoulder that was formed, that other block, red other block, yes, that shoulder there. Then the sweep to the upside, that entire place is a shoulder. Then the sweep to the upside, then the sharp move back inside. You can extend it all the way, all the way. You can extend the line all the way. Exactly. Although maybe a triangle would have been better, a rectangle would have been better, but you get the point. Exactly, from that red order block. Exactly. You bring it down a bit. Exactly. The week of the, well, it's your rectangle is a bit big. I'm just looking at those two rejection weeks that were consumed. From 191.95 to 192. That's where it should be. So you need to take it up a bit. Exactly, that's the shoulder there. Then you reduce the rectangle. That's the shoulder there that the liquidity was consumed. And then exactly, so that was the high that was swept, and then price broke below. So I thought price would come back to that place, and that will now be our sell entry. Because if you zoom out a bit, you'll notice that even that shoulder is an inducement on a previous exactly. So I thought that when price touches that place, it will collapse down. But if you zoom in now, you'll notice what happened there. When price got there, when price got to that box pattern, that shoulder, there was rejection, but it bounced above it. And not only did it bounce above it, it now went to break that high. It went to break the sweep. This is a box failure. This is a box failure. And typically, when you have a box pattern failure, right? Because it didn't give us a clear sell. It grabbed that liquidity, it did twin tower. You see, exactly, that's the inducement, that's the liquidity that was created, right? And then it grabbed it, but it didn't come back down. So at that exact place, we now see a buy, sell, buy, and price has broken up to the upside. Now, based on this, I no longer am interested in selling. Rather now, this move typically looks like it will be a buy. Two things that I will use to confirm this buy. Number one, so when box pattern fails and when price goes above the shoulder, when it's mitigating, I will now look, as price was going up to clear that left shoulder, did it form any fair value gap? Did it form any fair value gap? It did. There's a fair value gap at 191.60. Exactly. There's a fair value gap there. And you can see the inducement because there are two equal lows. So fair value gap is there, inducement is there. And there's another block below. Fair value gap is there, inducement is there, there's another block below. Then even below that one too, exactly, there's another fair value gap, there's another inducement, which is the twin tower support, that railroad track, or what they call base. After the fair value gap, price went up, exact. The inducement around 191.40. 191.40. 191.40. 191 exactly. So that's a flip zone. That's a high. That was a resistance. There was a break of structure to the upside with a fair value gap, and then there's a flip zone where previous resistance now became support after that break of structure, after that fair value gap was formed. So that's the inducement. So based on this now, I am no longer looking for a sell because those levels now can be where the buyers will take control and keep pushing price upward. So 191.82, 191.80, 191.80, 191.80. There's a fair value gap there too, and a flip zone. Yes, 191.82, that fair value gap. So the first thing I'm looking at, I'm no longer looking for the sells. Why? Mind you, I've not done a higher time frame analysis, so this is just liquidity studies. So that place where price is, if price pulls back to about 190, 190, 177, that is likely going to be a buy. Price will tap into that and shoot to the upside. Same thing, if it doesn't get there, it will go. If it doesn't stop there, it will stop around 190, 160. Grab all that liquidity below and then continue going back. The one I'm really thinking that it will go to is that 190, 160 and then continue going back. So all I'll be doing now to check is yen basket and sentiment models. Yen basket and sentiment models, because when box pattern fails, typically, if you can see an inverted fair value gap and you can now see inducements being formed, is very likely that box pattern will reverse and it will continue with the trend. So please put the markup for me. I expect price to get to 191.80, 191.80. Tap into that fair value gap and move up because the box pattern failed. Box pattern failure is in itself, or if it doesn't stop there, it will now tap into 191 exactly and then move up and continue the trend. So I'm expecting price to have issues at that level because it's an inverted fair value gap and price will go up. So does this make sense? So I'm no more looking to sell. I'm no more looking to sell. No more looking to sell. This is what I'm thinking will happen now. Why? Because it has cleared that level and is moving to the upside. I will use yen basket analysis to explore this. Have I answered the question of the person that asked the question? All right then. Okay, fantastic. So yes, that's basically it. That's where I am at on GBP JPY. Now, of course, if you look at it on the higher time frame on the daily, yes, risk is on. If you look at it at the higher time frame on the daily time frame, there is also some sort of okay. All right. So look at what's happening on the daily. This is what is giving me a little bit of cause for concern. Do you see that there are equal highs and the left shoulder? Exactly. They are equal highs and a left shoulder on the daily time frame. So you see the shoulder, you see the sweep, you see the break of structure to the downside, you see the equal highs formed, price is now going back. So it may just tap above that 192.21 and come down. So I am really just watching. But based on box pattern failure, when box pattern fails, price will likely want to move to the upside. So I'm really just watching, trading very carefully. But as that box pattern has failed, any slight pullback, it will tap those liquidity levels and go up. Now, whether it will go up all the way is what I don't know. So trade very carefully and pay attention to yen basket a lot as you are doing your analysis. All right. But of course, you see those levels that we've marked. If price breaks those levels to the downside, 191.00, then already we know what it is going to do based on the daily time frame structure. Based on the daily time frame. Daily time frame, we've seen the shoulder, we've seen the sweep, we've seen the inducement created, and price is going out to mitigate, tap the liquidity above the inducement, and come back down. Demola, what are your thoughts on what I just said? If you have no thoughts, you're allowed to have no thoughts. So all right then, over to the guys on the floor. But if 191.00 gets broken, coming down all the way, you'll be able to take a long-term trade. A long-term trade. So you have thoughts?
No, not really, sir.
Okay, all right then. All right. Thank you. Would that be a variation on the daily around where we marked? Would that be a variation? Okay, variation, that's 8DC. That's twin tower. So, but yes, that's a okay, so come to the daily, let's look at it. Variation, that's a twin tower, or that's a variation there now. That's a variation on the daily. Abby is in a better position. No, not Abby. Who trades variation in the office? Yeah, Abby. It's Abby, I think. So that's a variation.
Yes, and
that's a variation. But what I'm saying now is, you see where price is. It looks like price just grabbed external liquidity. Tap above those two. There's exactly there. Equal, and equal highs are very equal. So that's the inducement. And because there's a sweep above it and a shoulder, you can just kiss it and start coming back down. Start coming back down. So one should be a bit careful. Another thing somebody can do is that sweep, those equal candles, the green and the red. Yes, the green and the red, you can do 50%. You can feed 50% of it. You can feed 50%. Body to open to close, not weak. Ignore the weak. 50% above it is fib you should have used. Well, that's fine. But there's a box pattern at 192.80. So you see that price can likely do 50% consequent encroachment, tap into that, and then collapse to the downside. Okay, someone said on the weekly there is a inducement. Some people call it possible base. Some people call it railroad track. It's just two almost equal candles, opposite color, buy and sell. Exactly. So someone asked the question. Someone asked the question that there's a box pattern at 192.80 that was marked weeks ago. I keep, in as much as we mark things, I always like seeing what the most recent price action is. So for me, this is the most recent price action. Is on the weekly. Did someone mark anything on the weekly? There's nothing on the weekly. There's nothing on the weekly. So I'm just looking at the recent price action. If you notice, CHF JPY has already started coming down. It's the other yen pairs that have not started coming down. CHF JPY has already formed its own high since. You see CHF JPY bar has done its own. Shoulder, sweep, accumulation, return to that fair value gap. And then it's now collapsing downwards. GBJPY has not done its own curve, and the others too have not done their own curve. So you can see it has also created its own equal inducement. So it's just to observe and see, but it has already broken structure to the downside, and it's looking like it wants to start coming down some more. Because that's inducement. That's done inducement to the downside. There's inducement to the upside at 171.0. There's inducement at 167.00. External liquidity. So those are places where to do a draw on liquidity. But based on what I'm seeing, it wants to come down. So that's why I'm saying that there should be some sort of pressure on yen pairs. All right, let's not overstretch it. All the best. I just wanted to answer that person that asked the question based on what I said yesterday. All right. Over to you, Demola.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We are grateful. So, guys, like we said, we'll be meeting again 3 o'clock for New York session market color, where we discuss whatever it is we've analyzed in this session, see how the market play out, and see possible opportunity in the market for tomorrow also. Right? Be reminded about the bots, be reminded about our courses, and also about those that want to join our VIP group where we share the trade idea. The instructions you already know. I've said it earlier. Just follow through and then you'll be added. Cheers and God bless, guys. Thank you so much. See you 3 p.m. for market color session, New York session. Thank you so much.